Okay, this is a video on how I make videos. So, this comes up a lot, especially for newer pickers. How should they film things good? This is what I use. So I've got this microphone stand here, which I bought for like, I don't know, $20 on Amazon. At the end of that, this is a newer edition, got this nice LED panel light with adjustable color temperature. Which creates a nice diffuse sliding angle. So if we look down there like that, with it on, you can see it's nice and soft. Put it off, get all horrible shadows from the downlights behind me. So on, nice. Not perfect, you get some like spots, but pretty good. So then I just have this, again, this little clip here, also off Amazon. This was like $20 phone holder. Stick that in there. I've got my phone charge cable I can plug in there as well if I know it's going to be a longer video. My power board here is the cable for the light, and then just an extension lead I use if I want to use a Dremel or something. Yeah, so you can see I've got that top-down shot. You can see if that was recording. You can see. Obviously, when I'm sitting down, you can't really see what's in the camera up there, but you can a little bit. And I don't use the default camera app. I use a different app called Dolby On, which only works, or it's only available on iPhone. It has some really nice noise cancelling feature, like some really good post processing or pre processing audio stuff. So I use that. That's very easy to use. Gives you a little count in and records 1, 2, 3 seconds of empty room. So things like this little fan, if that's running, you won't hear it. And things like my air conditioner, you won't hear either, which is important for nice audio. A lot of smaller stuff too, which just cuts out, which I really like. So that's the first step. Film a video in this with a light, camera, microphone stand, clip. You don't need a light at first. If you just get a microphone stand, they're a really cheap tripod option, and one of these phone clips. That's the start. You get a really great angle. You can adjust this sort of to any angle you want very easily. And it's way cheaper than a tripod. Way cheaper. Good tripods are like a couple $100, and again, this was like $30 or $40. Like, it's very cheap. So yeah, that's step one.
Okay, now that we've filmed the video, I get it off my phone, put that in, drag it or drop onto the desktop, rename to something useful, like how I make videos part 1, and then I open up DaVinci Resolve. That's my editing program, which I've just done that to start with because it takes a while to load. So it'll come up with this screen, go new project, loads up like that. Just drag that into the media pool, change the frame rate. I don't know what that's on about. I don't know how to change the default, but just push yes every time. So now we've got that, slap that in the timeline. First thing I do is while we're in the edit tab, just scrub forward a bit till where I can see these audio peaks start. So I'll just split it there and cut off some of that so there's less blank space at the front. Often that's also there because you push the button and you'll get the camera wiggle around for a while. So I'll usually just sit silent, wait for the wiggle to stop, then I'll start speaking. And once I start speaking, then I know that I can just cut out that start spot. And then I do the same at the end.
Yeah, that's step one.
Because you usually get a little bit of wiggle just as you sort of bump the stand or whatever, looking for that off button. It cuts out that last little bit of crap. So that's pretty much it. That's on most videos, that's all the actual editing I'm going to do. And then all the, like the cuts. And then I'll come into here, in the normal tab, and I'll go to normalize audio. That's really important. I just use the sample peak, set it to -9, normalize. When you upload to YouTube, it also does a audio normalization as well, but it's good to have done it ahead of time, especially for when you then apply some other audio filters. So once that's done, that's pretty much ready to publish, but I come over into this Fairlight tab, the audio tab, and I go up and I go to my presets library and I apply this preset that I've made. Apply, yep, that turns it into a mono recording. It just makes it easy to edit. I mean, there's no need for stereo. It's like I'm only recording through a one point of microphone anyway. Stereo doesn't really make any sense. Both tracks are identical always, so may as well just be a mono sound. We can see what that looks like then. If we just go to the end here, can push play, and this will have had all my audio improvements applied.
And this was like $30 or $40, like very cheap.
Yeah, and now if we zoom in, you can see that in between where I'm not talking, there's no audio at all. Like it's completely cut out. That silence in the middle. So what is that preset actually doing? I've got a few things going on. I've got first off, let's do the bottom dynamic stuff here. We've got a gate, so that basically takes, here it is, anything that's under -40 dB, it just gets rid of it. Pretty much, it just massively drops the audio signal from any low volume things. That's how I get these bits here so clean. Any little humming, messing, wind noise from outside, it just cuts all of that out, cleans it right up, which is nice. And then the compressor takes anything that's really loud and brings it back down to like a more normal level. So I've got that set at -18 dB, where you want most of your vocals to be in the like -15 to -10. I don't know why these numbers are negative. This is I don't know, but anyway, if it's over that, it just cuts it down a bit, so it just sort of evens out the audio a lot more. And then because that will drop the volume down a little bit, I have this slider here, make up, just slid up a little bit, which just boosts everything a tiny bit. So it's all evened out a bit and then all pushed up a little bit. That's what that does. This is honestly a very good tool. Even if you just use that, you'd be doing all right. Next, I've got a really basic EQ. I've got a high pass and a low pass filter. So whereas the gate cuts anything off that's not loud enough, this cuts off anything that is below a certain frequency. So like my speech and stuff is not going to be at 50 hertz. So anything that's sort of in that, it starts getting rid of them. The lower the frequency, the more it gets rid of it. The same at the other end, those really, really high pitch stuff. You don't need any of that. You probably aren't really recording a lot of that anyway, but if you are, it just cuts that out, which makes it sound a bit cleaner. If you actually knew what you were doing, unlike me, you could probably set this up properly configured for my specific microphone. But yeah, I don't know, I played around with it and I couldn't hear any difference. So I just left it basic. Next, I've got a nice little one. It's called a de-esser. It just cuts out some of the noises in speech. If you turn that on, turn that off, it makes it sound a lot nicer. Let's just do a little, I don't know if this is going to be a good example. Let's just do a little snippet with it on.
$30 or $40, like very cheap.
Alright, and then turn that off.
$40, like very cheap.
I don't know, you probably can't hear anything there. But whatever, it's good, just turn it on. Make sure you set it to either male or female, because it makes a huge difference to what it sounds like. And then finally, the other thing I've got is the multiband compressor, which I've basically just left on all defaults because I don't understand how to use this tool very well. But even on all defaults, it makes it sound better. So this is like the normal compressor where if something's really loud, it cuts it down. This does the same thing, but it does it also looking at what frequency the things are. So you can just sort of see it working there. It's like cutting here, cutting.
So yeah, that's step one.
So yeah, it just cuts different frequencies at different amounts. It compresses it better. You want both compressors on ideally. And then, yeah, I mean, if you really knew what you were doing with audio, unlike me, you could tweak this up much nicer and it'll get you better stuff. But I just turn it on and it sounds better. So that's pretty much all of that. And then once that's done, so once it's configured, like I've built all that preset, you can just save all of this stuff as another preset. So then normally I don't need to play with any of these settings. I'll just turn that preset on. I'll give a quick like couple second listen, just like
So yeah,
to that much, and look at these levels here. See that we're not peaking up into the red, but it's not super quiet either. And I'll maybe tweak something if needed, but it's very rare that I need to. Usually just a 3 second listen, and we're good. And then yeah, that's that video done. So then I'll just go File, quick export to YouTube, export, and then give it a name, save it. In this case, I won't do that because this video I'm recording now, I need a tack on the end of that. So I'll do that later. And that's pretty much it. Then once I've exported it, I'll just make a thumbnail and stick it on YouTube. And that's pretty much my entire process, start to finish. Use the Dolby On app to film in the first place, and then stick it into DaVinci, trim off the start, trim off the end of those clips, run on some audio template stuff, and then export. I can also link to another good video in the description, which is where I learned all my DaVinci audio stuff from. There's another guy there who just does videos for DaVinci that are really good. Certainly, he has a lot more idea what he's doing than I do. So if you are on PC and you are using DaVinci, they're worth a watch as well. If not, I mean, there are other editing programs. This is sort of what I do, but I'm sure you can do all this same sort of stuff in another program as well. It's just going to look different. So I don't know. You'll work it out. Yeah, hopefully that has been helpful.